Hey, good afternoon everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to make green papaya salad with pink salt. This is a kind of exotic dish. Now you can sub out some of the ingredients if you can't get everything. If you don't have the pink salt, you can always just use salt. If you don't have rice vinegar, you can use plain vinegar. I am using some nice fresh chunks of jaggery I got at the Indian market the other day, and it's just gorgeous. But the only thing you can't sub out is the green papaya, okay? Do not use a normal papaya, it just won't work. And green papaya has more health benefits than the regular ones do anyways. Now, I'm going to show you two ways to do this. There is a traditional way to make the salad, and I'm going to use the much faster Western way for the rest of it, but I'll start it off traditional so you can see how it's done. When selecting your green papaya, make sure it is really unripe. That is really what you're looking for. Now this stuff peels quite nicely like a zucchini, so just turn it over and get all the peel off to start off with. Once you have that all peeled except both ends, cut off the bottom part so that you're able to stand this up on the cutting board like that. Okay, well, the seeds are already starting to come out on this one, so that's fine. I'll show you what to do with those later. Now, if you're going to be doing the traditional method, what you do is get yourself a sharp cleaver and just start whacking it like that. If you do not feel comfortable chopping on something like this with a cleaver with your hand, just use the grater that I'll show you in a bit. So once you've made enough cuts that you can see little strands are starting to come off, stand it up and use your cleaver to just shave off little strands like that. Now, if you are going to use the traditional method, basically what you do is you just keep doing this till the entire papaya is done, nearly down to the seeds. However, I'm going to do the quick way now. And what you do with this is just get yourself a grater, choose the largest side, and just start grating it. And you will see that the result looks a little different, but when you taste it, I don't find that much of a difference, and it's a lot less work. When you've shaved off enough that when you turn it over, some of the seeds start to fall out like that, what you do is just get them over either a bag or the sink, because I have a garburator, and get the seeds out as much as you can before you keep going. So I'm just going to bang it with a cleaver, and if that doesn't get all of them, what you do is just cut the end off to make a nice wide opening that you can get in with a spoon or something and basically scrape them all out before you continue shredding, because you definitely don't want the seeds in your salad. So I got in there with a teaspoon and just scraped out the insides, so that should be good to finish shredding now. One thing I do as well, as I shred along here, when I start to get really close to the core, to make sure I don't cut myself, I just take off a ring, and that way it allows you to keep a much better grip on it as you keep going down, and less chance of scraping yourself. Well, I'm all shredded out here. There's not that much left on here, and I've got quite a bit. After you got your cutting board rinsed off, get a piece of ginger about this big, 2-3 inches, and just trim off the dead stuff on the sides and the ends, and just give that a quick peel. Once that's peeled, get your grater and just grate that up on the big side. I always choose a piece that's a little bigger than I need because I don't want to end up grating my fingers. I'll just throw this part out. So get what you can off the grater, add that to the shredded papaya. Give that a rough mix. And just visually inspect it briefly to make sure that there's no seeds got snuck in here. Wow, these chili flakes are so fresh, I'm sneezing and choking, so they're pretty strong. 1 teaspoon is all you need for this. Now, if you don't like your salads too hot, just use half a teaspoon by all means. Get 4 cups of water, bring that to a boil. When the water's come to a full rolling boil, add the ½ cup rice vinegar. Make sure your face is nowhere near the pot because you don't want to be breathing in the fumes. And then add the jaggery and the pink salt if you're using that, or just add a tablespoon each of salt and sugar. This is where you want to turn the heat down a little bit, because what you want is the salt and the sugar to both dissolve completely, but you don't want to boil off too much of the brine. So a slow simmer works much better right now. This has been simmering for a couple of minutes. You can see that the sugar is dissolving quite rapidly now, and the salt chunk is shrinking as well. The sugar is just about gone. The only thing left to do is wait for the salt. It's said that this stuff is 250 million years old from a seabed at the foothills of the Himalayas, which is kind of cool if you think about it. There's just a tiny crystal left at the bottom of the pan, so I'm going to turn the heat off now and just pour the brine over the papaya. Now this is interesting to see just how salty that stuff is. This is the bottom of the pan after it dries off, because it's so hot. It's just coated in salt crystals. So yeah, a little bit of this stuff goes a long way. Now if you try it with a piece that big and you find it too salty, of course, just take a bit out and just stir it up a little bit to make sure that all of the strands of papaya are in the brine. So after you got everything mixed up there, just let that cool off at room temperature until it's cool enough to transfer to a container that you can put in the fridge, at which point you will want to chill that for a minimum of 2, preferably 6 or more, to get yourself a nice cold pickled salad. Well, there's green papaya salad with Himalayan pink salt. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again.